Kyle Klingman with Track Wrestling with another special interview all the way out to Gilroy, California. He's the number one ranked 152-pound high school wrestler in the country. Chase Saldate, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
We're doing good. I mean, I'm assuming it's just like everything. You're locked down a little bit. What are you doing with your time?
So most of my time is going towards workouts, still getting 3 workouts in a day. I have like a pretty good home gym downstairs. So just between that and homework, that's all I've been doing.
And the high school, you said, is just 3 minutes away, just out your window?
Yeah, so it's really close. I could walk there in a couple of minutes. So once that opens back up, I can get back in the room out there.
Daniel Cormier is your coach. How are you keeping in touch with him?
Through Zoom. He had us all download Zoom, and he's going over our like future schedule once everything passes through or whatever. And he's sending us like lifting information and stuff for guys who like have gyms at home and stuff like that. So he's keeping in touch pretty good.
But you knew him pretty well before he became the head coach. How did you get to know him initially?
So the very first time we met was when we bought this house. Turned out he was the next door neighbor, and I never knew who he was. Like, I wasn't a big MMA guy. So my dad was kind of pretty big on MMA and like introduced me to him. And then he kind of just like took me under his wing, and just from 7th grade on up until now, just started training me out in AKA, getting to wrestle with like Khabib and them. And then he became my coach my junior year.
So when you say next door neighbor, is that literally next door?
Yeah, like literally next door.
And he still lives there?
No, he moved a couple weeks ago.
Okay. So you don't get to see him as much? I mean, with the
No.
lockdown, of course, but.
Yeah, but it used to be like I'd be laying down in bed 9 at night. He'd be like, "Hey, you want to come get a workout in at my house?" And I'd be like, "Sure, I'll go over. Like, I'm right here." So it used to be a lot of stuff like that. And it was cool because I always got to be – it was a lot easier to do like his training camp stuff. I was always working out with him as much as I could. Just because like it was right here, I may as well ride up with them to AK and stuff like that.
When did it start transitioning and you learned about his great legacy in wrestling and MMA?
Not until about freshman year, when I started kind of like watching MMA more. And I think it was 8th grade or freshman year when he let me go with him to when he fought John Jones the second time. So I was there at that fight. He took me there, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, dude, like, he's big time. Like, people are like insane over him. And then I was like, man, like, I never thought it was like that crazy.
What does he implement with wrestling practices? Does he give you a little element of MMA during high school practices?
Yeah, for sure. But like, he's funny. Him and Deron Wynn are like the most like funny coaches you could have in a room together, because it's like having like 2 brothers just annoy each other the whole time. So like they'll like show a move, like DC will snap him down, go behind, and just start punching him in the gut or something. And it's just funny like that.
How does he bring the best out of you? Yeah, how does he bring the best out of you and the team?
I would say like he pushes us really hard, but it's like we want to push harder because he'll do it with us. Like when you have somebody who's doing it with you guys, it'll like force you to be like, okay, I could do it, you know? So like we do a lot of workouts that he does, and he'll just like do it with us. If we're like, dude, we can't do this right now, we're tired. Like, cause that, you know, sometimes you're like that, like, you know, you just had a hard couple of days. He'll be like, okay, me and Deron Wynn are putting on the shoes and we're going to do it with you guys. And then we're like, dang, like, all right, like we're going to push through this. And that's like huge, you know, like the team I've been on was kind of never really like that. And it forces us to like step up to that next level and be like, okay, we got to push through this practice and just get better.
California has one class, 48-man brackets, and it's just a monster just to get through, just to qualify, just to play, and then just to finally win it. Are you aware of how tough the California State Tournament really is?
Yes and no. Like I would say I know it's really tough, but I've never like seen anything besides it. You know, I've grown up around this tournament, and after this season, the way I won it, personally, I was like in my head, I was like, well, maybe it's just not that tough of a tournament anymore. But then I was looking back and I was like, wait, I had 3 kids ranked in the top like 10 in the country in my weight. But like, it's tough. Like if I go back to my freshman, sophomore year, even junior year, when I wrestled Jesse Vasquez in the finals, like it's a grind. Your first match could be a really good kid.
And then you had actually 6 matches to win it, and you won 5 by fall, and then you had a 14-0 win, I believe,
Yeah.
in the semis. Does that bother you didn't get a fall?
Yes, definitely. I was like, because my goal was literally to max out points for my team. So we were trying to get that like state title, get as best as we could. And I wanted to max out, get all pins. And I had called it like all year. And that match against that kid, I had him pinned twice. And the second time I literally looked at the ref in the middle of the match and I was like, is this not a pin? And he just looks at me and he's like, And I was like, oh, bro, come on, give me the pin. But yeah, that bothers me still.
What was it about Michigan State that was appealing? You're going to be going there next year. Why'd you like them?
I was really looking for I wasn't really too stressed on how good the college like was in wrestling in general. That wasn't like my first eye of anything. First thing I was looking at was some sort of good like packaging engineering school, because that's kind of what I want to major in. But then the second thing is like coming from a team that I've been on. My team, we've grown up since we were 6 years old together. We're really close, you know, and it's more of like a straight family before a team. Like we hang out all the time off the weekends and stuff. And I want to be on a college team similar to that, where it's not just more about wrestling, where all the guys are super close all the time. And after taking a couple visits and stuff, I was like, dude, this flows perfectly. They're just like Gilroy was, and this is like the best place.
When are you going to go out there?
June 28th.
Okay.
As long as everything's good, that's when I'm gonna be out there. Get ready for Fargo out there and everything.
Have you gotten to know some of the guys on the team that are there right now?
Yeah, I know all of them. I've gone up there a couple of times this past year, over like the weekends and stuff. Because my sister, she goes to school there. I have an older sister there, so I'm able to like stay with her and still like go say what's up to the guys and stuff. So it kind of works out good, and they're all super cool.
I love that you have a podcast. Like, there's not many high schoolers that have that depth to be able to carry conversations and have a podcast. Have you always been pretty outgoing?
Yeah, I would say yes, but I never thought like I would be doing something like that. Like, I was always trying to do like YouTube and stuff, but I always wanted it to be like wrestling related. And after my state finals match against Jesse Vasquez, because me and Jesse didn't talk all year just because like we were just going to wrestle for some reason. We just didn't talk. And then after, because we've known each other forever, we were talking about like just growing wrestling, you know. And that was like the plan. We're like, dude, because I never thought anybody would be on that same level as us, like as high school kids. We're like, dude, let's just try and get wrestling as big as we can, because there could be so much more viewers. Like, imagine the state finals, but twice as big with people. But it's so hard to learn because nobody, like, if you're an outside person, you're not going to just watch a wrestling match and be like, oh, I understand it, this is cool. Because if you don't know the points or anything, you're not going to watch, you know? So we were like talking about that. And then we're like, dude, let's start a podcast, get the best wrestlers we can. And just like, so like people can have a connection with like the person, you know? So if you've seen this kid on YouTube, and you're like, oh, he's a really cool kid, then you're going to want to watch his match and maybe that'll get you into wrestling. So I was talking to Jesse about that, and he's the one who helped me come up with the podcast. And I was like, first person off the top of my head to do, I was like, Richard Figueroa, like great kid, stud. And since then it's been going. And I had to take a break this season, but I have like 4 of them recorded. I just got to edit.
Do you like the attention you get from podcasts and social media?
Yeah, I like how it's different. I like how I'm known more for like the satellite talk and stuff like that, rather than just being like say the number 1 kid in the country, or being the kid who wrestles with Khabib or something. Like, I like having something that's more just like me, you know, like that's my thing. That's what I do.
Of course, everyone's talking about you rolling around with Khabib, and he's a huge name in mixed martial arts. What was that like?
It was tough. I mean, it's really fun. It's great. I love doing it because like it gets me like no college kid I'd say is gonna be like Khabib and like Islam and the rest of the Russians, just their style and how strong they are. But it's definitely like, even though I'm super close to them, it's still kind of like scary because they're really intimidating people when they take you down and they're like smothering you. Like, I've watched Khabib's fights all the time. And when he takes people down and he just like smothers them, chokes them out, like his past couple fights, everybody tells me, they're like, dude, you can't breathe down there. And last time I wrestled him, it's actually on video, I was like, in my head, I was panicking. I was like, I'm going to die down here. Like, this is insane. Like, the pressure he puts is insane. But it's huge because then it, like, for me, going into state, I was like, I could put that same pressure in on top. And top's actually where I shined at state for sure.
How did that come about? Was that something that Daniel Cormier set up?
Yeah, so it's just like I've been wrestling. There's certain days throughout the week that AKA does wrestling, and I've been over the summer for the past 4 years I've been wrestling there. But then he had told me, he's like, hey, there's no school. The couple Islam, Khabib and them are in town. You want to go work out there? And I was like, of course. Like, I'm always down to go work out. And then when I was there, Islam's the one I've been drilling with. He taught me the Russian tie snap and all that. That was kind of the one I've always been working out with. And then Khabib was like, you're going with me this round. And I was like, all right, like, how bad could it be? And then I was like, man, like, it was tough.
Does he understand that? I mean, of course he knows submission wrestling, but how does he adapt that to freestyle high school wrestling?
Well, they do Sambo, which is very similar, but they have like no idea about Folkstyle. So that's like a hard transition for them when like takedown-ish. We kind of just have to tell them like, just don't lock your hands, you know? But on your feet, it's pretty much the same. But they're very like hard to take down. Like you can get in on their leg. They'll let you in on their leg and then they'll do like throws and stuff. But yeah, they do like Sambo. It's pretty similar to freestyle.
Pretty nice guy?
Yeah, super nice guy. They're super cool. Literally right after he was just talking to me, he's like, oh, like you've gotten a lot better, because he's like seen me kind of grow up. And like possibility if everything like before all this stuff happened with the disease and stuff or virus, they want me to go out there for like 3 weeks to a month and train with them before college, get ready. So that's still a plan if everything goes well.
What's the number one question that you get from people that they want to know about you?
The number one question is, what's it like having Daniel Cormier as a coach, for sure.
Really?
That's the first thing I get. And like, because I guess for me, you know, he's not some big superstar. He's just like my coach. But then for a lot of people, it's like, dude, that's Daniel Cormier. So that's for sure the first question I get. But if it's with wrestling, like about me, the first question I'll get is, what made you, how do they say it? They say, what made you get so good this year? And I just say like mental toughness. I got really big into reading about like mental toughness and like believing you're the best. And that came from an AKA fighter named Kyle Driscoll. He started doing that and he kind of like took me under his wing under it. And I started doing it. And that's like huge for me.
So when you're at a dual meet or going with Daniel Cormier, does he get mobbed by people or what's that like?
Yeah, for sure. In airports is like a big time when like a lot of people come up to him, but we mess with him a lot because like there's times when he just wants to chill, you know, and kind of stay undercover. And one of the guys will be like, "Oh, look, it's Daniel Cormier," like super loud so everybody could hear. And then we normally have to run or something, but it's funny. But at duels a lot, tournaments, like I'll be warming up for my match. He'll be right next to me and you'll have like kids coming up, like asking for pictures and stuff. But like a good thing is like he's super cool about it. He'll be like, yeah, of course, or like, yeah, I'll wait till after the match, you know. That's like dope not to see, like, because there's people who are just like, no, like no pictures, I'm busy. So it's cool that he's still like nice to everybody.
Where's your star right now? Do you get people wanting pictures and autographs yet?
Yeah, I went to a Folkstyle state and I had a lot of people coming up asking for pictures, and then there's a lot of people texting me after on Instagram being like, oh, I wish I could have got a picture with you. You seem busy though. And I was like, if you ever see me, like, dude, definitely like ask for a picture, ask for anything. I'm like super cool with any of that. I was kind of shocked though, because I was like, man, like I didn't know that many people like knew me or even watched my state finals match like that.
Well, let's test your history. You're going to Michigan State. Did you know that they won an NCAA team championship back in the 60s?
No, I didn't. I did not know that. The last thing I know about them was when Gomez was there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was like, yeah, that was the last thing I know. I never went any farther back.
Okay. Yeah, they were the Big Ten power for many years. They were kind of like the Iowa wrestling before Iowa was the powerhouse. So
that's what we're trying to get back to.
Yeah,
got it. We're looking good. I'm really excited. Like, I mean, I don't know if you watched Michigan State too much this year, but they got a lot better. We had Cam Caffey, who was in the Big Ten finals against Brooks. We had like six qualifiers and like a possible seventh. What's that called when in case somebody gets injured, you get put in?
Oh yeah, yeah. They would go in.
One of those.
Yeah.
And we still didn't have Rayvon fully back in, who was an All-American the year before. He took a redshirt year, so we're looking good. I'm excited to go out there. starting or not, a red shirt, whatever it is, whatever they have me do, I'll be ready to go out there.
All right. Hopefully East Lansing has their pictures ready to get you to sign them and have their selfies ready to go for you.
Yeah.
But, hey, appreciate this time. This is fun, and we're excited to see what you're going to end up doing at Michigan State. You're going to be a Spartan, and really appreciate this time and all the best as you make this transition out of just some trying times right now, but I'm sure you'll make it through.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks
Appreciate
for having me.